everyone, I'm Katie Robertson, and I want to welcome you to our March Anchor Gathering broadcast. We are so glad you're with us. If you're tuning in with your watch party in a home or your church or another venue, or you're on your own, we are so happy you are joining us at this time. We've got a great program ahead, and before we get started, I wanted to share this is an extra special month. This is the anniversary month for the Anchor Gathering. Believe it or not, it started 14 years ago, and it's fun to take a look at the history on how it all began. It started shortly after the biggest storm hit my life, when my oldest daughter, Karina, passed away after a 5-year battle with leukemia. And it was during that journey that the Lord held me so strong and our family, and He met me in the deepest, darkest times. My initial thought was, I'm going to drown. How am I going to ever live without my daughter? And the passion that developed in my heart was so huge. You couldn't stand it. I wanted to share with everyone how real Jesus is and the hope that He brings and the strength and everything we need to live life to the full. So I gathered some friends, and we launched the very first Anchor Gathering in a net shed on the shores of Gig Harbor, Washington. And if you're wondering what a net shed is, it's like a fishing shed. And we just could not believe where we have come from that day 14 years ago. We have now launched our Anchor Gathering YouTube channel. Women are gathering in watch parties in homes and churches here in the Pacific Northwest and across the country. And we also are having our large in-person live events, and we're shooting for going into the other regions across our country. The Southwest region is our first in Arizona. It is so exciting, and we cannot wait to see what God has in store. Well, let's get started with the program, and we have a very special guest. This is a first for the Anchor Gathering. We have a guest that will be sharing our music and the anchor moment. And that anchor moment is a time where we get to hear from our guest about their life, their faith journey, and about a moment that their faith has been grounded. Jesus has been real. So it is an honor to introduce our guest, Tayla Lynn. And Tayla is a country music singer, songwriter, and she's an actress. And she is the granddaughter of the legendary country music star Loretta Lynn. And Tayla has released several albums in tribute to her grandmother. She also performs nationwide.
Just lead us on till we know where we're going.
She lives in Nashville, Tennessee with her husband and 2 sons. Let's welcome now Tayla Lynn.
Hi, my name's Tayla Lynn, and this is a song that I wrote about my personal struggle with addiction. And I want to sing it to you today. If you've ever battled with addiction or love somebody that battles with addiction, and I just want you to know that the Lord loves you, and He just wants to be close to you. Don't ever forget that.
When I lay my head down, I say a little prayer. Oh Lord, don't give up on me. One more trip, one more fall, pick myself up before last call. Man, this boredom in my veins. A little grass, a little dust, a temporary wanderlust. Oh Lord, don't give up on me. 'Cause you know I've been hell on wheels, and now the devil's at my heels. And it feels insane to be caught between a sinner and a saint. chasing some relief. Anything to get away from me. I was looking for redemption in a stranger's eyes. Oh Lord, don't give up on me. 'Cause you know I've been hell on wheels, and now the devil's at my heels. And it feels insane to be caught between a sinner and a saint. Nobody's gonna help me when I'm down. Nobody's gonna bring my baby around. Feels like I'm screaming to no one. Feels like I'm going straight to hell on wheels. And now the devil's at my heels. And it seems so strange looking at the person I became. When I lay my head down, I say a little prayer. Oh Lord, don't give up on me.
Hey, my name is Tayla Lynn, and I am from Tennessee, down south, Franklin, Tennessee to be exact. And I'm excited to talk to you today. I have no agenda. I am, as you can see from my background, I have a little shop in the place that I live. It's called Waverly, Tennessee now, which is about 60 miles west of Nashville. And I've got ADHD, something fierce. And if I ever try to plan something out, I end up, it doesn't work no matter what. So I'm going off the cuff and hope that I make it from A to Z. I don't know how this is going to go. And I'm going to try to do it all in about 10 minutes. So wish us luck. I promise you, I prayed about it before I started. I was born in the South, in the Bible Belt, so everybody believed in God. I mean, it just was a thing, right? Even if you didn't, you pretended like you did. Like, just, you were an outcast if you didn't. And I mean, my mama dated a whole bunch of different people, and whoever she was dating or married to or whatever, that's where we went to church. Like, my grandmother and my aunt, they were Church of Christ, but nobody was like adamant that we go to church. So it was pretty laid back in that way. But I always knew Jesus. Like, I mean, I just always was like, my aunt, Aunt Bill, she taught me how to pray, and she read the Bible with me when we were little. We had these little like Bible books, and she simplified it. It wasn't, my mom was great about like, if we messed up or if we wanted to know something or were we going to hell, like she was so kind and loving about Jesus being really loving and that children don't go to hell. And I just knew of a really loving God from the very beginning. And every time I would leave my Aunt Bill's house, she would say, read your Bible and remember to pray. But she didn't do it in a gross way, you know, where I felt like I had to read my Bible. You know, I wanted to. Because Aunt Bill was cool. She took good care of me, and she was very maternal and loved me. And as was Granny and my mom. But my grandfather died when I was young, and my other grandmother is a country music singer, and I got some of her stuff in the back because I've got, the store is kind of like a memorabilia place down here, and so we got all kinds of, somebody painted that. But so we have all kinds of stuff. But is Loretta Lynn, and she is a country music legend. She passed in 2022, but
fame honors one of the most admired women of our time. She was born a coal miner's daughter, but she has become a country music legend, Miss Loretta Lynn.
Loretta Lynn's 1988 induction into the Hall of Fame was but one of many honors that have been bestowed upon her.
I'll never forget, when you have a grandmother like that grows up in this, she was in the spotlight, and I thought she was so cool. And obviously, she was famous, and I wanted to know everything she did, and I wanted to do everything that she did. And she had that movie Coal Miner's Daughter. I watch it every day, and my mom really loved her. And so at this funeral of my grandfather's, she sent a Bible, and I wish I still had it, and I lost everything at one point, and I'll get into that. But she sent a Bible, and it said, Tayla, I learned how to read on this Bible, in this book, and it's the best book ever written. Read it every day. And so that made the Bible cool to me in a way that it was kind of good and maternal and there and all those things that were sweet, but now it made it kind of cool. And I'm kind of I've always been sort of a rebel and a wild child, so I kind of need things to be cool in order to get interested in them. And so that did that. There are so many God moments in my life but as a child, there was physical abuse, there was some sexual abuse, and during all of that, I always had Jesus. I had him in my hand, and I was never alone because I knew I had Jesus. Just this really sweet, loving presence that I felt totally and completely, and I was never alone because he was just in the closet hiding with me. He was there during beatings. He was there watching my mother be beat. That's what I would do. Oh my God, take care of us, keep us safe, get us home. All that abuse happened, but I also had a lot of good times too. We lived in a small town. It was super fun, and I still have my best girlfriends today that I had when I was little, and they all believed in God, and so it was cool. So when I was about 20, I became a cocaine and pill addict, and I was lost for a really long time, relatively speaking. I did things that my children now watch everything that I put out, so I try to be a little bit more careful. So I will say it like this to a group of women, and I know that sometimes your husbands join you, but what a woman will do to survive that. I did horrific things, and I stole, and I lied, and I stole from my family, and I stole from my grandmothers, and I was physically just a wreck. So my stepfather he died in a drinking and driving accident, and I was on a binge for days, and I had ended up smoking crack and smoking heroin back and forth. And I weighed 82 pounds, and I'm 5'1". It was the day of my stepfather's funeral, and I stole my sister's car, and I ended up getting in a hit and run, and I left the scene of the accident, and I went to my drug dealer's house and got held up with a sawed-off shotgun in the projects in Nashville. And I had a handful of pills, and I took them, not to die. I just would always take a handful of pills. My tolerance was insane. So I took that. He took the car, and I called 911, forgetting I'd already been in this hit and run. So about 20 cops came, 15, 20 cops. I mean, the whole parking lot was surrounded in cops. And they don't believe me I've been in a hit and run. They think I'm making up this whole story to get out of the hit and run. Like I made it up. That would have been really smart, but I didn't do that. So I got in the back of that cop car with a police officer. And I know he's taking me to Franklin, to the Williamson County Jail. And I just said, thank you, God. Oh my God, thank you. I had been sort of missing in action for about a year. Like I told you, I'd become a crack and heroin addict, and life was a disaster. I don't know how I was alive. And I asked God, I went to treatment at this place called Cumberland Heights. the day I got out of jail. I was in jail for the funeral, and I got out and I went to treatment. I went into a chapel, and they told me there, they said, all you have to do is hit your knees and ask God for the desire to drink and drug to be removed. And I was like, no way, it's that easy. But I'm going to do it because I'm miserable and I'm sick of myself, and I can't keep doing this. I just can't keep doing it. So I went into that chapel and I hit my knees and I just started crying. And I said, God, please take it. I can't figure out how to get out of this. I need you. Please just take it. And I really let go. Like, I believed and I didn't believe, because I had been so twisted that I couldn't possibly believe that it could be relieved. But then on the other hand, I had absolutely no other choice. I mean, I was at the bottom. And so I just surrendered. And he was right there. He was right there. I'm not going to say it was easy right away, but I would do the work, and I would show up in groups of women like you're doing today, or by yourself, whatever, with groups of women. And I would start doing the next right thing. If somebody told me I needed to go to church or to a recovery meeting that day, or I needed to read something, then I would just do it. I would start following direction, which I'd never done before. I'd never done what anybody told me to before. I mean, that's certainly not cool. So I would just start doing what they tell me to do. And then after a few years, I got a little bit lazy. I got into a church. I got non-denominational church. And I ended up getting kind of lazy in it all. And I ended up, after having my first child, they gave me pain pills for the birth. I had a C-section, and I relapsed after almost 9 years of sobriety and going to church and doing the thing and doing all the things. Just kind of rested on my laurels, and I relapsed, and I hid from God. I just wouldn't let him see me, and for what I thought anyway, and I just became a liar again, and I couldn't believe that my life was everything I ever wanted, and that I was just hiding from God again. I didn't know at the time that that was God preparing me for life as I know it today. So once again, this therapist said to me, it wasn't anybody in church, it was a therapist. He said, take off your shoes, walk into the grass, and ask God to just be with you, to just hold your hand again, that you're sorry that you've been hiding from him, but to just please hold your hand again. I thought, you know what? It worked in that chapel. I've been twisted again. I thought, what do I have to lose? I mean, I'm going to lose it all, or this is going to work. So once again, at the bottom, I stood in that grass, and God poured himself all over me. It was, I still remember it today, standing in that grass, being worse than I've ever been, and with more to lose than ever, and just going, oh my God, I've done it again. Like, I've done it again. Not thinking I could be forgiven, but knowing in my heart that I could, but not understanding how it was all going to work out, and just having to trust God again and turn it all over to him again. And I did, and he was there. And I'm going to tell you, I've been sober now for 12 and a half years. Our kids went to Catholic school. They homeschool now because I'm on the road all the time. I tour all the time. My marriage is fantastic. My kids are awesome. They fight too much. They're two boys. They fist fight all the time. They fight too much. But life is good. And I know now, as soon as that thing hits, when I'm hiding from God, or I'm trying not to let him see what I'm doing, because in end of the day, I'm still that rebel who needs everything to be cool, and I need to get what I want when I want it. So I have to get with him. I have to get with other like-minded people, especially other like-minded women. And I have to go, okay, am I being honest? Am I being tolerant? Am I being patient? Am I being kind? How am I showing up to be like Jesus today? To be a Christian that people can feel inspired by. How can I inspire my children? How can I show up in a way that my family is gonna know that I'm doing okay? And then how do I get to heaven? I mean, I ain't trying to burn in hell. So how do I get to heaven? How do I ensure that I'm going to be with my mama who passed away unexpectedly? That's my mama. How do I get to be with her? How do I get to be with my grandmothers, my family? How do I get to see all those people again? Well, I have to do the next right thing, and I have to be a woman of integrity. And I get to love the Lord with all my heart. I wake up every morning and I hit my knees. And I do the thing I did in the chapel and in the grass. I ask God to I ask for self-will to be removed, and that I do his will. I don't really pray for specific things, but just that his will is done in my life. And I really listen to my gut and pray that, that is God talking. It's more intuitive now, now that I've heard the voice for a long time, and when I say the voice, I mean, when you're doing right and wrong, that voice that's like, okay, yeah, this is the right path. So that's it, really. Thank you for listening. I hope that made any sense. I feel better just talking about it. It's a reminder to me to do well today and love well today. And thank you so much for letting me share. And I hope you have a really great day, night, year 2026.
Wow, Tayla, thank you so much. What an amazing song. Your gift of music, just such an inspiration to us all, those words. Wow, a prayer for us and a reminder the Lord never gives up on us. And your testimonial anchor moment, over the top, inspirational in every way, that the Lord, he sees us and loves us and wants to know us and help us in every way. Thank you so much. Well, at this time, it is a privilege to introduce our speaker. Her name is Megan Johnson, and Megan is an author, speaker, and teacher. She is the Chief Program Officer for Illuminate Cohorts. Illuminate Cohorts is a virtual ministry for women. It provides biblical curriculum and intimate community for women to go deep and learn the purpose and calling for their lives. Let's hear now from Megan Johnson.
Well, welcome to the Anchor Gathering. My name is Megan Johnson, and I am so thrilled to be with you today. I'm just gonna hop right into it. Let's just get real honest. I have a question for you. When was the first time that you remember feeling seen? The first time that you remember feeling noticed by someone or something? The first time that you felt really valued? Maybe it was when you got that promotion that you were like, oh, I'm working so hard, I finally got the thing I was working towards. Or maybe it was way back in middle school or high school and you made the team. Maybe it was when you overcame an addiction, something that you felt like had taken who you were and you were returned to yourself. There's a lot of times in our lives, if we just take a moment to reflect and think on them, they're like, that's when I felt really seen. That's when I felt noticed or valued for who I really am. And whatever that story might be for you, I'm willing to bet that deep within that memory or whatever came to mind, that there's something that's actually being reflected that's deeper than just being liked or admired, that I think there's maybe a clue about who you really are, about the truest, most deepest longings of your heart, and maybe the gift that you're supposed to be to the world. When I was thinking about what to share, I was asked myself that question. I wouldn't ask you something I wouldn't ask myself. And I remember I was 12 years old when I think back to when I first felt seen. And I'm gonna set the stage for you because literally I was on a stage. It was a makeshift stage in a hotel in downtown Renton in Washington State. I was in a ball gown that was a little bit too big for me among hundreds of other girls at a scholarship beauty pageant. Now, before you're like, oh yeah, of course, that's what you were doing. Can I just paint a picture of what I was like when I was 12 years old? I was painfully shy. I was someone who, what I thought was a good time was taking my mom's antique books and reading them by candlelight. So yeah, I am the life of the party. So when I got at this anonymous VHS tape, VHS, yes, I know I'm dating myself. It was a little black square. Anyway, in the mail, that said, we want you to apply for this pageant. I remember how mysterious that invitation felt. I remember taking it to my mom and being like, hey, I got this thing in the mail. And she was terrified because she knew who I was. She's like, you're gonna lose in front of all of these people. But for whatever reason, and I think now looking back, I know the reason, but for whatever reason, she said, okay. And when I was 12 years old, standing on that makeshift stage, I whispered to God, I said, God, I don't care what happens, I just want to get 4th place. I have some friends here and I would be wildly embarrassed if I just didn't get 4th. And in the midst of this whole hubbub, I hear my name called as the winner of the entire pageant. And it was embarrassing in a different way, because when you truly feel seen for the first time, I wept in front of 100 strangers. That somebody had seen me and picked me out of all of these faces, all of these other people, and they called my name. Something deep, deep inside of me broke. Now, I will say, for whatever reason, God decided to surprise me that day. I don't know why, but in looking back, I see his absolute kindness and joy in this shy little girl. And he called her forward and he said, hey, today is the day you're gonna feel seen in this way. But here's the flip side of that story. While I had this incredible moment, I left that day also carrying a wound and a lie that I think I've struggled with my entire life. And that lie is that I would have to be approved of by some panel of judges, whoever that is, that I'm inviting to tell me what my value is, to tell me where I belong, to tell me who I am. And what's interesting is when I recall that memory, I could not tell you for the life of me who those judges were. I don't know what their jobs were. There are strangers in my story. And so that's my question. Circling back, the first time you felt seen, the first time you felt noticed. Now, let's bring it to today. Who do you allow to judge you? Who do you allow to give you that scorecard? This is what you're worth. This is what your value is. This is why you matter. Who do you allow to judge you? Who are your panel of judges? For some of us, it's us, right? It's our inner critic. It's this voice that we're hearing all throughout the day telling us, do that, you have to achieve, you have to become, you have to do more. For others, it's that parent that we never can seem to please, no matter how young or old we are. For others, it's our pastors or our spiritual leaders, or it's our friends or our husbands or our children. The list goes on and on and on. But those moments where we feel most valuable and most seen, if we just hand those off to anyone, our entire lives can feel like we're living under the microscope of judgment. But I have some really good news, and that's kind of where I'm going to turn next. We don't have to feel judged by other people to find our value, to find our worth. In fact, for me, I think my story began changing, and I was able to heal from some of that wounding that I chose to carry out of that room that day, because I came to know Jesus as the most perfect, kind, and merciful judge. And it seems weird, like how do those two things go together, right? Can you be a merciful judge and also be what I believe God of the universe? Do those things work together? And I believe that they do. So who are your panel of judges? I think one of the most encouraging things that I came to believe as I've grown up, as I've matured, hopefully, is that there is only one true judge. And he's not the kind of judge that makes you feel small or unworthy He's actually the kind of judge that calls out the truest parts of who you are. One of my favorite writers and preachers, his name is Charles Spurgeon, and he is the Prince of Preachers, is what they would call him. And he spoke with this fiery passion about God's mercy, particularly in life's, whether it's a crowning moment or it's your darkest moment. And he wrote this, he says, "I bear my witness that the worst days I have ever had have turned out to be my best days. And when God has seemed most cruel to me, he has also been the most kind." You see, love letters from heaven are often sent in black-edged envelopes. The cloud that is black with horror is big with mercy. And there isn't anybody I can think of in the Bible that actually understands that more than the character Job. And you're like, oh, how exciting, how fun is Job? I know. He kind of gets a bad rap, but the reality is that Job was somebody who was wildly familiar with being judged by others. And in particular, he had these friends that were constantly trying to rope him into these conversations about why his life had gone the way that it had gone and how all of that was his fault. And there's this one passage, and his friend Zophar is talking to him. And you have to understand the picture of Job's life. He went from being this wealthy, well-respected philanthropist in his community to a chronically ill man who lost his entire family tragically. And he was actually blamed by his community for those losses. Imagine the weight of that judgment in his life. And then Zophar comes along. He's trying to encourage Job. But as I tell you what he says, you're going to see really quickly that he's miserably failing at that endeavor. But in Job 11, 7 through 9, he says this to Job. He uses God's good character against him. He said, "Can you fathom the mysteries of God? Can you probe the limits of the Almighty? They are higher than the heavens above. What can you do? They are deeper than the depths below. What do you know?" You see, this is often actually what the voice of the enemy sounds like, whether that's your inner critic or this bigger enemy that is really out to take our true identity in any and every turn that he can. It's the voice of the unfair judge. What can you do? What can you know? But here's the truth. And again, this is really good news. God never judges his creation against the perfection of what he's capable of. Instead, we see that God is not harsh in that at all. He is rich in mercy. Ephesians 2, 4 through 5 confirms this. It says, "But God is so rich in mercy that he loved us so much that even though we were dead because of our sins, he gave us life. And he raised Christ from the dead." You see, it's only by God's grace that any of us can be saved. That's what we believe in Christian theology. That's what I believe as a follower of Jesus. For grace, I have been saved. Now, a lot of us, if we're born and raised in Western culture, like in America, if that's your culture, we struggle to understand this because we live in a culture of crowning moments. We live and die by the last post or approval of someone else. It's just the way our entire culture is designed. But I'll never forget when I used to live in the greater Seattle area, I had some neighbors from Fiji. And the way that they operated was so different. The way that they found their value and how they felt seen was so different than what I was used to. You see, Fijians and Samoans, they have this community culture. And when somebody suffers in their community, they actually suffer. And when somebody succeeds in their community, they also consider that their success. And that's actually more so what the kingdom of God is like. That's more so what Jesus came to offer all of us, is that there's this shared experience, this shared identity, that we are approved of and loved by him. No matter what we do, we all get to share in God's mercy and grace together. There is a verse, one of my favorites, and it's in 1 Peter 5:4. And it actually uses this same language that the Fijian and the Samoans use. They don't call people judges or presidents, they call people chiefs. And in 1 Peter 5:4, it says, "The chief shepherd," that's Jesus, "when he appears, you will receive the crown of glory that will never fade away." So those moments where you felt most seen, I truly believe that they are clues to our eternal identity. that God calls us beloved daughters, that He calls us loved no matter what, that He knows your name, your true name, not the one that people call you, but the one that really tells others who you are. He is so intimately aware of who you are to become, and He wants to help you get there. That's the hope of an identity built on a chief shepherd and not a harsh judge that the whole world tells us we must submit to. So here's how I want to end. I've talked a lot. I've talked a lot about needing to be seen and wanting to stand out, but I'm willing to bet there are some that are listening to me today, and you've made it your entire life goal to be invisible, to hide. You're just like, man, it's a win if I go about my day and nobody's noticed or been able to comment or critique on my behavior. And I just want to say that Jesus also came for those who struggle with shame. He also came to see those who don't want others to see them. That actually it's His love that calls us out from the shadows of the parts of our stories we don't want anyone to know about. And He says, even then, you were mine. And even then, I knew your name. See, shame tells us that we are not worthy to be seen. And Jesus sees, no, I see you no matter how ashamed you feel. Psalm 34, 4-5 says, I sought the Lord and He answered me, and He delivered me from all my fears. Those who look to Him are radiant, and their faces shall never be ashamed. That's the promise that we have for this perfect and merciful judge that is never looking to embarrass you, never looking to call you to the front of the class, never looking to make you feel small, but only ever to make you feel seen, to make you feel valued, and to help you notice the beauty of your life, the gift that He gave you. So thank you so much for tuning in and spending time with me. It's been such an honor just to share a little bit of my story and my heart with you today.
Well, thank you, Megan, for sharing that powerful message and the reminder of the promise of our amazing Father and His love for each one of us. At this time, we'll leave you with some discussion questions Megan has provided for us, a time that you can go deeper with your watch party. And our hope and prayer is that you would be encouraged and go deeper on the matters of her message and all that it says to your hearts. Well, before we conclude, I've got a few things that I always like to share to help us get the word out about Jesus Christ, helping women to know more about the hope that He brings. This is very important. So first of all, if you haven't already, we would love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Anchor Gathering. There's a button right there. We really need your help. The more subscribers, the more women we can reach. Also, we'd love for you to follow us, like us, and share us on your social media platforms. And here's the big one. Coming on board, joining this movement to be a watch party host, which entails opening your home, inviting women in, and watching our broadcast together, sharing the good news of Jesus. If you are interested or feel any kind of a nudge, if you want to host one time or every month, we'd love to connect with you. You can go to our website, theanchorgathering.com, and under Get Involved, and we would love to share more. Well, we've come to the end. It is that time, and we just want to thank you again so much for joining us. And we wish you a wonderful month ahead. And I want to leave us with our very favorite verse. And it was 14 years ago when we started the Anchor Gathering. I wondered, is there a verse in the Bible with the word anchor? And here in my trusty favorite book, I looked up and I found the perfect verse, Hebrews 6:19. And it says this: we have this hope, Jesus as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. And that's what we want to share with you. And our hope and prayer is that this month you would be filled with the hope of Jesus Christ and the peace and joy He brings. So, as I always like to conclude with, until next time, stay anchored, and we will see you soon.